Hello and welcome to another episode of the Product Clinic. I'm here again to bring you another episode where we will diagnose health tech products challenges and prescribe actionable insights to help you build and market products that people love. I'm your host, Marianne, and today I'm excited to bring you a conversation with a very special guest. She's the head of product marketing at a software development company that delivers a solution to help scientists accelerate scientific discoveries. She has over 16 years of experience in life sciences, building and executing go to market strategies to drive business outcomes. She also has a strong scientific background, which began with a biological sciences degree and then a PhD in neurobiology and genetics of aging and behavior. In addition to life in product marketing, Devika enjoys singing and writing. Today, we'll be discussing product marketing management in health tech through the lens of Devika Garg. You're in for a great conversation. Welcome, Devika. How are you?
Hey, thank you so much, Marianne. I'm so excited to be here. That was a very kind introduction.
No problem. Great to have you here. Can you share a bit about yourself and your journey into product marketing management? What was key to helping you enter this field?
Yeah, as you mentioned, I am a bench scientist turned product marketer. And my journey has been nothing short of, I feel it's been very interesting, lots of different kinds of pivots. Moving from bench science into my first step was into science writing and science communication. That's something I enjoyed a lot. And I worked in different kind of roles as science journalist and at public relations offices for Stanford Medicine, UCSF. And that role was essentially the first step of translating science for the general audience and interviewing scientists and essentially, again, catering to the audience. And product marketing is essentially that you're trying to fit a message and tailor it to specific type of audiences and just make sure that different groups they get the value proposition of whatever you're trying to sell, and the story that you're weaving works for the group that is listening. So lots of continued threads between what I was doing as a journalist and then what I started doing as a product marketer.
And how would you describe product marketing? You've already given us a basis.
Absolutely. So product marketing, the way I see it is it's like a bridge between what we build and who needs it.
Mhm.
And so I think of it as connecting the dots and helping our customers to get closer
Yeah.
to a big breakthrough, for example. And so you understand, on the one hand, you have to understand the technical capabilities of your product, also the real world problems that your customers are trying to solve, and you are the bridge. Product marketing is essentially that connective tissue between these two. And like where I am at TileDB, essentially it's all about translating complex database technology into solutions that scientists, bioinformaticians, computational biologists they can use to accelerate their work in drug discovery and pharma discovery.
Do you know of any misconceptions about product marketing that now you're convinced are not true?
Well, so when I first, like before I jumped into product marketing, I thought it was mostly about making things sound good, right? As a scientist, I had that misconception coming from scientists. I think generally it's harder to get buy-in from scientists, right? You need a lot more proof involved. And
Yeah.
so my misconception as a scientist was that product marketing or just marketing in general is about making things sound good, but it's actually much more than that, right? It's a lot more strategic. You're doing a lot of research, you're really understanding market needs, and you're trying to work cross functionally. It's really about solving a problem, and you want to do it as authentically, and you want to tell the story of your product as authentically as possible. Because if it is just about making things sound good, any product marketing that you do will not work at the end of the day, and especially for the kind of audience that we are involved with. They look for proof, they look for more. Yeah, it has to be authentic, it has to be grounded, it has to be scientific. Yeah, I don't know if that's your experience too.
Yeah, I was thinking something similar. Originally, I thought marketing products was all about highlighting how great the product is, and if there's a new feature, it's making that feature stand out. But as in my experience, it became more and more about connecting with the users or potential users. How would they benefit from this product or this feature. So what are their needs in their daily tasks, and really meeting them there, you know?
And I think a scientific background really helps,
Yeah.
right? Like having that helps in doing that translation and listening to the customer a little more closely. I mean, tech is all over the place, data is everywhere
Yeah.
today, and just trying to see, how can that bring true value to this industry.
Hmm.
Uh, Having a scientific background helps.
Yeah. Yeah,
Uh,
definitely. Do you meet customers regularly, or do you get to ask them what are they actually looking for? What do they need?
Absolutely, yeah. So, I mean, I think being a product marketer, like you have to have a touch point with customers, prospects, and so that's an essential way of getting information from what's happening on the ground. So yeah, as part of my role, I definitely am part of customer conversations.
Mm.
Sometimes if not directly, I make sure that I'm listening into our sales calls, using that as signal. I'm at events and conferences where again we're meeting customers, prospects all the time, and learning more about what work they're doing, what's important to them, what the kinds of obstacles they're running into, and helping them, again bringing that bridge, that obstacle A, maybe this thing might work, and like how do we position our product in a way that they get it right and it works. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, so you mentioned positioning. I'm quite interested in this because often it can be difficult to stand out in a market where there are similar products out there. So how do you go about crafting the value pillars, for example? What essentially creates the foundation for the messaging? How do you go about doing that?
Absolutely. I think, I mean, in any kind of messaging positioning framework, there has to be like one positioning statement. And it's essentially like for XYZ audience who is interested in doing something, this product brings this particular value, which is unlike everybody else. So that unlike statement, I think the differentiate statement is absolutely critical. The market is noisy, and anytime, like every time I write a statement like that, always compare it with a competitive product. Forget about your own product. If you erase that and replace that with a different company name, would it still work? If
Mm.
yes, you need to write something else. And I think I try to follow the 5 why approach essentially. Like if my product is faster, in general everybody can say better, faster, cheaper, right? Those are the three very high level value pillars. Everybody wants to sell, everybody wants to see efficiency, efficacy. So better, faster, cheaper. But once you try and go down that, okay, why is your product cheaper, why is it faster,
Yeah.
and then what is the technical differentiation there? I think bringing that up to four always elevates your positioning statement. And especially with the kinds of audience that I cater to, it becomes really critical because they're all very technical.
Yeah.
So having a technical differentiator brings confidence that, yes, these guys know what they're talking about. I understand the technical difference here, and so this makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah, not sure if that resonates in your world.
No, it does. It does. It's about connecting with the personas and speaking their language.
Absolutely. Yeah.
So, coming from a life science background, how did you find entering the tech space and working cross functionally with your product counterparts, product managers? How did you find that transition from being a scientist to working with others from tech? Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think somebody from tech is looking for, at least in my space, not looking for also mastery in technology. And they're looking for mastery
Mhm.
in a different area, but being, dangerous enough that you can understand and talk to each other. So I think that's been the key thing for me to, work in technology companies, right? Where I don't necessarily come in understanding all of the technology, right? I do understand the on the ground pain that a scientist is feeling, right? And so bringing that, but understanding just enough about the technology, right? I think that helps. For example, when a genomics researcher talks about their data challenges, I understand that on a technical
Mhm.
level. And
Yeah.
so I understand the pain points because I've been there. So it helps me spot opportunities where technology can solve those real problems and not
Mhm.
create flashy features, but
Yeah.
it helps with the translation with the technology team that we work with and the product teams that we work with day in and day out.
Mm.
Um, yeah.
So you really understand the challenges of the users because you've been there before.
Absolutely. Yeah. And so that is more valuable than me understanding 100% of the technology, I think.
Mm. Yeah.
Right. So bringing that and connecting the dots with the tech, I think that's where generally most product marketers operate.
Yes, on the theme of collaboration, working as a product marketing manager, you're often working across disciplines with several teams. What do you think is important in making these collaborations successful?
I think product marketing, I mean, it is a team sport. Like it's, or rather, product marketers can be considered as like one glue between sales, marketing, product. And so you're constantly working cross functionally. What I like to do generally is have these common touch points where you're listening early and often and educating all teams that this function exists for a reason, and
Mhm.
it is designed to bring in information from the customers, that's from the sales, like what are they hearing, and bring that, and from marketing itself, like what are the signals, and marketing, like it's again back and forth, and from product itself, what are we building, and that feedback loop has to continue. So in general, like collaboration would look like any other cross functional collaboration, right? We just have to be intentional about sharing information early and often,
Yeah.
and basically educating each other about the importance of this particular role and why it exists.
Yeah, communication is very important. It's often in the conversation you find out things that you may not have known otherwise. It's important to keep communicating with those people you're working with so you can share insights that could inform what they're doing and also gain insights that could better inform your own projects as well. So,
Absolutely. And it's like even more critical with remote teams,
yeah.
right? Working remotely, it becomes we meet and then we have Notion documents and we're kind of keeping track of what's happening. So there's a lot you have to over communicate when you're working remotely, and just make sure that nobody misses something. Yeah, for sure. Communication is key.
Yeah, I think last time we spoke a bit about product marketing in small companies compared to larger ones. Do you think there are any differences in the approaches required, or is the focus different?
For sure. I mean, you definitely need different approaches at smaller companies. Like you can be a team of one product marketer versus, a team of 40 at larger ones. So as a team of one, you have to fulfill all of the functions in that capacity. You have to own many more swim lanes. One day you're doing competitive insights, and next you're creating sales materials, you're feeding your marketing campaigns with content, you're working on SEO, you're talking directly to customers. Whereas, at larger companies, you can choose to specialize or need to specialize in more, and, where you have dedicated resources for all these different functions. So, I mean, the trade off is essentially that, in smaller companies, you get much closer to the customer and you can move faster on feedback, right? So you can iterate a lot more. There's less layers between you and what matters. So it's exciting. And then it's both. And in a larger company, you can focus a lot more on just the position. Like you could be working on just a positioning for 2 months,
Yeah.
right? And that's it. So that's the trade off, I think. Yeah.
Mm. And I guess it also depends on the product and its stage in the market, whether there's a need to educate the market on the value that the product brings, or whether the market already knows the value, but there is a need to
No,
go on.
absolutely. What you're saying exactly. So I think it depends on the product. If your product in a known category,
Mm.
right? If it's in a known category, people understand the pain. So you have to educate less about the pain, and you have to mainly say, okay, it's the that in your current world you can do this in 10 hours. Now with this one you can do it in 30 minutes. So it's about metrics from that point of view, and I think so you immediately almost move to proof. Whereas a product that is almost like category creating, or it's a new something, you have to educate first about the problem itself that you're trying to solve. You have to bring awareness in the market that this is a problem that exists, this is a problem that is worth solving, right? And what is the ROI of solving this problem, at that point, the solution almost doesn't even matter. It's just bringing awareness of the problem itself. So a
Mhm.
lot of leadership around that. That becomes a big part of product marketing, content marketing. Like even your PR strategy is all about that. And then as you move, you want to bring customer proof points that, a solution exists, and
Mhm.
look what these customers were able to do with that solution. And so yeah, so you kind of move through that life cycle of a story about a product and a problem. So I think generally like the problem solution framework is very powerful for product marketing. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Any kind of storytelling, really.
Yeah. Okay. Thanks. And have you worked in a centralized marketing department versus decentralized marketing team? And in your experience, what are the pros and cons in the different structures?
I mean, I've seen both, and I've seen decentralized marketing, meaning more like, product marketing being closer to business units.
Mhm.
So, larger companies, often what you'll find is you have the product and tech within each business unit, and product marketers sitting within the business unit. And core marketing function is more central. And so, first translation is the product marketer, where they are closest to the product and they are technical product marketers, and they'll translate the value, and then this gets communicated to the core marketing team, who can then up level it, tell it in a different way. And then I've also seen teams where just every all marketing is part of one centralized, so there's no, these product marketers are not embedded within business units. And there's pros and cons. Being within business units, you're just closer, and it makes it easier to have a line of sight into like every single technical feature, and the reason, the why behind it.
Yeah.
And it can be faster. So for deeply technical products, I think this makes sense to have product marketing sitting right next to the product itself. And that way you are very much in sync. It's easier. For obviously for smaller companies, it's just, the one business. And so it's almost always centralized. There's no decentralized. Yeah. So the size of the company, the technical nature of the product, I
Mm.
think both of those matter quite a bit in making a decision what will work for you as a company, decentralized versus centralized. Uh,
Okay.
Centralized can also make it easier for communication to flow within marketing, so that
Mhm.
not everybody is doing duplicate work, or
Yeah.
gets done a little bit and then goes nowhere.
Mhm.
Something.
Yeah. Yeah. I was thinking it probably comes down to the size as well. Yeah. And yeah.
Absolutely, it
Yeah.
does. Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. So, what do you think is key to successfully marketing a continuously evolving health tech product?
I think you have to balance innovation with reliability, I would say. And key to marketing it is, if it's continuously evolving, for example, could you share an example with me?
For example, a digital product that
Hmm.
continuously has new features being introduced, how would you ensure that these are being communicated to the market in an effective way over time? How do you stay on top of that as well and ensure that the different cross functional teams you're working with are also aware of the value and able to do their jobs right, like sell the product with the new features in mind?
Absolutely. The way I've done product launches is that you do anytime there's big launches, right, where there's a whole set, feature set, very big buckets that
Yeah.
are being launched. And so you do big product launch. And then there's rolling hits and new features that you get that keep getting added. In which case you always like do like an always on type of program. From a communication point of view, you have something every month, or and so you keep your current customers, your prospects in the loop about an always on approach. And so you have to do both internal as well as external education. So you, on the sales side, you have to make sure that they know what's new and why that's important. And the external side, like you have to have a steady channel. So the channel could be, like a quick newsletter. It could be a LinkedIn, like some kind of media use. But again, it's basically having a program that is functional on a cadence where you're in sync with your product team, and you know ahead of time what the roadmap looks like, so you
Yeah.
can plan out your communication. Yeah, I think in general that's.
Yeah, I agree. Being in close communication with the product manager, knowing what's happening and when, how the
Yeah,
product is evolving and why.
absolutely.
So, what challenges have you seen along your journey as a product marketer for life sciences or health tech? Do you know of any that are unique to this space? I don't know if you've worked in other industries as well as a product marketer.
So I have worked in digital health as
Mhm.
a product marketer, and then I've worked in a core technology company, and
Mhm.
then hardware technology, and then now software technology. Um, I think the broad theme in this space, healthcare and life science is very regulated as an industry, right? For good reason. You need a lot more proof points. You need
Mhm.
a lot more solidity behind anything that you claim
Yeah.
for good reason. And I think peer reviews matter a lot, almost in any industry, but I think they matter largely, like even more, like maybe, I don't know, 10 times more in this industry for any kind of product. And the word of mouth is very, very critical. So overall, I think that's the challenge. Like you can control your messaging, you can control your pricing, all of those are in your hand,
Yeah.
but sharing proof points and having customers advocate, where also like in this industry customers shy away from advocacy a little
Mhm.
bit. They will do off the record reference calls for you, right? But not everyone is willing to put their logo next to a vendor's name, especially the large customers where you'd love their name on your website. So I think that is the biggest challenge. I feel like everything customer related, advocacy related. So you have to constantly find ways where your customer will, if you want them to advocate for you, they have to love your product that much. Right? It has to be so easy to use, so delightful. So it gets immediately connected to the product itself. Like how good is your product, that
Yeah.
your customers, how strong is your brand that they want to be associated, right? And anytime like I ask a customer to present, for example, like, hey, would you like to tell your story? I think you have to give more to get. And
Mhm.
so that is, I think, the key thing that I've found is a common thread across, marketing to, whether it's marketing to healthcare, whether it's marketing to biotech and pharma. That's the core challenge that I've seen.
Yeah. So, what kind of things are valuable normally to these customers?
Yeah, I think
Is it in the product? Is it mostly changes in the product, or is it additional information or maybe training?
at the end of the day, like, are we solving their problem? That's
Mhm.
most valuable. Are we,
Yeah.
saving them money, making them money, or helping them stay in their lane, like where they need to be? So, as long as one of those three things is happening, that's what customers really want, right? I mean, it can come in the form of new features that they've asked for. It can come in the form of services,
Yeah.
making something easier to do, integrating it better, and then I think elevating, like from a customer advocacy point of view, there's many customers, again, they have their own journey, right?
Yeah.
And so if you can meet them where they are in their journey
Mhm.
and find avenues where you can like advocate for them,
Yeah.
so both organizations have something to gain. So then you're elevating their profile along with your profile gets elevated. So I think all of those things come together in the form of, and that's what I think really creates strong customer relationships, and ultimately people want to work with other good people. So yeah, it really matters.
Yeah, you mentioned working cross-functionally, and you also mentioned in our last conversation that PMMs are navigating three worlds at the same time. What are the dangers of remaining in one world for too long and siloed from the others, and how can you prevent this?
Yeah, so I think, yeah, the three worlds are essentially sales, marketing, and product, right? So you have to stay in all these three. I mean, if you're only in the sales lane, for example, you're deeply connected with your sales team, with your account reps, with the customers, but you're not bringing anything back that you're hearing from
Mhm.
their product team, then I mean, it's a disservice to the knowledge that you have. And like, you're listening to the market, but you're not bringing back anything to your product team.
Yeah.
That's not good, right? Because they need to hear what you're hearing. understand the problem more, so they can formulate a solution that fits. So that's a danger, right? If
Mm.
you're only in the marketing lane, then again, I mean, marketing goals are generally, brand, leadership, but you're not listening to the customers, you're not close to the product itself.
Mm.
So as a product marketer, I don't think that will work. You can be sucked into only the core marketing goals and disconnect from the product itself. So then you don't have that technical bridge, that why is your product faster? Like, yes, I want to say my product is 10x faster, but why is it 10x faster, right? So you don't
Yeah.
have that bridge into the technical need, the differentiation. So again, not that's not good either.
Yeah.
Um, and of course, if you're super close only to the product
Mm.
lane, then that's too technical, maybe. So you're unable to translate it to customer language and your audience ultimately. So whatever you do will be lost.
Yeah,
Yeah.
definitely. So it's about finding the balance. And how do you ensure you find that balance? What does that look like on a day to day?
Day-to-day basis, like I am part of the product team meetings, part of obviously like the marketing team meetings, part of the sales team meetings. So
Mm.
honestly, like that's the best you can do,
Yeah.
and just to keep your ear to the ground in all the domains. As a product marketer, you're making connections that, oh, I heard this on the product side. Oh, and I heard this on the sales side. Like, I think
Mm.
there's a match here. So there's an art and science to it,
Hmm.
essentially. You are the connective tissue, essentially,
Yeah.
in many cases.
Yeah. I found also being curious about what these different teams are working on and also being there to see how you can provide value as well.
Absolutely. 100%.
Yeah.
Curiosity instead of judgment. That's
Yeah.
the Ted Lasso.
Yeah.
Right, be curious, don't be judgmental. So yeah, curiosity always helps.
Yeah. And what are you loving about working in product marketing right now, especially in this industry?
I think it allows me to flex all parts of my brain that I like to flex. It's um, love marketing, so it helps with that creative streak,
Mm.
and it's strategic. It helps with the forest for the trees kind of thinking that I have, and it's obviously like your customers are like my customers where I am is are scientists
Mm.
and always have a close connection with that community just
Yeah.
because so I think it's a great nexus.
Mm.
Product marketing brings that great nexus. I'm not the one building the product, but I'm the one telling the story,
Yeah.
and that I think like at the end, like I've always been a storyteller. So that's what like I really love. And so
Yeah.
here in this case, it's a strategic storytelling, very strategic storytelling. So it's really nice.
Yeah. The creative part is great, right? You get to decide on how you convey the story to the
Yeah.
audience.
I mean, I think product marketers are a rare, like you have to be inherently curious, right? Insatiably curious, and you have to be a storyteller. And those skills can actually work in many creative fields. I think in general, like I think that's what product marketers bring to the table.
Yeah.
That's what I love most about my job. Yeah.
Yeah. Fantastic. Yeah. I think the last time we talked a bit about AI, about how AI has infiltrated the workplace and is changing the way we work. Are you using AI tools at the moment? And how
Of
has it
course.
impacted the way you work? Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, no conversation is complete without that, right? Most absolutely. AI is like using large language models for very incredibly important for what I'm doing. I think it's less about, will this take away some job or not, but I think it's definitely going to demand people to do more with that
Mm.
same time. So I'm using AI tools for research. I'm using it for, I think the problem of the first draft is solved. You can
Yeah.
get a first draft, then like you have to edit ruthlessly. But that's what like I think in marketing I'm using AI tools for. Even for competitive intelligence, again, first drafts of things. I
Mm.
think that's where AI helps a lot. I've tried analyzing customer feedback
Mm.
through like AI tools where you like a lot of calls and transcripts
Mm.
together and then say, give me high level insights. Like, what are the common threads that all of these people are
Okay.
saying, right?
Mm.
So refine that, identifying trends across,
Mm.
multiple market research reports, for example. But you always have to be careful because there is hallucination, right? A model will always tell you stuff with so much confidence, right? So it's
Yeah.
so you have to, like I said, like the problem of the first draft is solved,
Mhm.
essentially. Then
Yeah.
you have like the strategy, the positioning, the actual nuanced understanding. All of that still requires human insight, creativity.
Yeah.
So it's a combination the
Mm.
way I see it. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah. It can make us more efficient, but we have to be careful as well and add our own creativity to it and make it more natural because it can become quite robotic in the way it delivers. So it still needs that human touch, that flair. I also use it just to bounce ideas off. Actually, even if I write a sentence and I think, is there another way? Is there a better way of saying this? I usually ask, and then in the end, I'm able to come up with something that I'm happy with, something that's still natural.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a great thought partner, right? I think that's what you're saying, right? It's a great
Yeah.
thought partner, a
Yeah.
great assistant, and
Mhm.
then you can throw as many questions as you want, and always be just
Yeah.
cheerful responder. I love Claude. I use Claude a lot, and Claude, like that model is just so polite as a
Yeah.
for a model. Also, like so it's really nice. Like you can get a lot of good insights, and it's a good thought partner,
Yeah.
definitely. Yeah.
Okay. So maybe we can conclude with a piece of advice you'd give to someone who's early on in their journey as a product marketer in health tech. What's a piece of advice that you would like them to keep in mind?
Yeah. I mean, starting early, I think the most important thing is to be open minded and
Mhm.
curious, you said,
Yeah.
right? I think having those two as your guiding principles, I think will already work wonders.
Mhm.
And because you'll have to adjust and shift until you find the right fit. And you have to build relationships with all these different teams. So your interpersonal skills, like that collaboration piece, is absolutely essential. You cannot be a PMM alone. I'll be able to code alone, right? You cannot do product marketing on your own. You have to also, and you have to have the humility to say, I do not understand this. Because you
Mhm.
will not. As a PMM, your job is not to understand everything, but it is to ask the right questions to the technology team. It is to ask the right questions to the customer team. It is to ask the right questions to marketing. Essentially, like your questions are your currency, your curiosity is your currency.
Yeah.
And you have to be okay saying, I do not know the answer to this, and it is okay. It is not like a reflection of, what I don't know, but it's just my curiosity that is going to help everybody. So I think honestly, like that's the number one thing. Just drives your credibility forward. That you're not trying to be the know-it-all in the room, but you're trying to find the connective dots,
Yeah.
essentially.
Love that. On the flip side, do you have any advice for really experienced product marketers in this
Uh,
space?
I don't know. I think really experienced product marketers should train young
Hmm.
talent. I think that's honestly like that's the best they can do to expand their own capabilities, right? And to lead teams that do great product marketing. I think that's like one thing that should happen.
Yeah, we need to really pass on the knowledge and everything we've gained to the next generation, the next group of people, because there are books coming out, but the formal training is kind of lacking. So it's important for people to pass on what they know, right? To be a mentor, especially in product marketing, which a lot of people don't really know about.
Absolutely, you're right. Like formal training is lacking. I think it's the same with product management. Like 10 years ago, I think product management was just emerging and product marketing, like the whole, like both of these, they're kind of both sides of the same coin, product management, product marketing. And training did not exist. And it's software people falling into product management or somewhere on the sales side falling into product management and product marketing. So almost everyone, like I talked to so many people at the time, like 10 years ago, like, how did you come into this? And almost everyone had a different story. It was most straight line path,
Yeah.
which is exciting. I think that's exactly that kind of embodies the multifaceted nature of product marketing and also product management. That it is not one thing; it is a coming together of so many
Mhm.
things. So it has to fit the personality type. It has to fit your, like, where you've been. Could you be intentional to become a product manager, product marketer? Yes, definitely. But more often than not, I think it's big people who are falling into these roles somehow,
Yeah.
even today, right? Which is interesting, I think. Yeah.
Okay. So, where can our listeners find you if they're interested in reaching out or following your journey?
Well, I'm on LinkedIn, so welcome to please follow me. I don't post a lot, but that's where you can connect with me, reach out to me if you have any questions.
Yeah. Okay. Great. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Marianne. This was really nice. Thanks for the conversation.